know, when you're planting a garden, it's important to think about your pollinators because you're so dependent on them. We are so dependent on them for seed production and just perpetuation of the species, basically. And so it's smart to think about having plants that bloom the whole season. So we like lungwort because it brings the bees here early, you know, before everything else has started to wake up. And then it's important, too, to choose plants that aren't, you know, that are your equinox flowers, basically your fall equinox flowers, that they're going to bloom really late. And so that just kind of keeps the insect activity here as long as you possibly can. And it lifts your spirits, because here we are in gray Seattle, needing some color and some light, you know, as we're moving into spring. And so thank goodness for things like lungwort that show up.
What did you call that?
Lungwort.
Lungwort.
Yeah, and that's wort like W-O-R-T.
Oh.
It's a little bit different. So we have two different kinds here. You can tell they're closely related, but they have different leaf shapes. So you can kind of choose based on your area or how large your space is in your garden, which one you would want to pick. So this is another great plant here that makes these really resinous yellow flowers. It's called Grindelia. Hopefully it'll be much closer to flowering. Maybe in June we'll do another plant walk. I'll do another one where everything will be flowering a little bit more. But this is our great upper respiratory type remedy that we have here. It's very coating to our mucous membranes. It's very fragrant. And so that resin is just really, it's called antimicrobial. So it's fighting bacteria and it's fighting funguses and it's fighting viruses. And I used it a lot. Actually, we don't have poison oak here, but I did in Southern Oregon, and it's the best poison oak remedy, you know, basically. So
In a tincture?
I made a tincture of it, and I sprayed it on my legs and stuff, and it worked really, really nicely.
Oh, as a repellent.
Well, as a post
Oh, you got it.
exposure, yeah, as a help me. I'm really uncomfortable and can't stop itching.
Oh,
It's
after
kind
you
of
got
like,
it.
how do I compare it? Have you guys ever used propolis or something? It's kind of like you're almost painting a layer on top of whatever it is. Like, so in this case, I would just spray it on top of the poison oak so that I would have almost a barrier over it. So it would minimize the itching, and then it would kind of just protect it, you know, type of deal. So a liquid bandage type thing. Do you have a question?
Nope.
No? Okay. And then right next to this is Sweet Violet, which we're also grateful for because she flowers so early. And so the flowers are all gone, but I'm really excited because I'm going to have a seed harvest really soon. So Violet, you forget about her seeds because you don't see the flowers anymore, and they hide under here. So I'm going to come out here and harvest all these seeds. It makes a little spaceship kind of thing here that's hanging off. And so when those will turn brown, then I'll be able to collect seeds. And so this is also really good for upper respiratory issues and cough syrups. I made a honey with the flowers. I just took the fresh flowers and made a violet honey, basically, and I'm using that in some cough medicines that I'm making. And so that's another way to extract medicine from a plant, is into a medicinal honey. And so you can use the leaves of this plant too. You don't just have to use the flowers, but the flowers really taste good. So that's my favorite part. This is Inula. It's also called Elecampane. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh, yeah.
So Elecampane is called a biennial, and that means that it won't send out flowers until its second year, but then it'll flower every year after that. So it's just not going to flower the first year. You're only going to see leaves. But this is my favorite upper respiratory remedy. It's safe again for women and children. It's safe during pregnancy too. Although I find you don't have to use as many herbs during pregnancy because you're super healthy and making a baby. But we use the root of this medicine primarily, and it makes a really cheerful, tall, yellow flower, almost like a sunflower. They're actually really closely related. And so that's why we did good planning with this one, with our tallest plant in the center here, and everyone else working around her.
What did you call it again?
This is called Elecampane.
Elecampane. E-L-L-A?
E-L-E.
Oh, E-L-E.
C-A-M-P-A-N-E.
I like it. Sounds like a cool woman's name.
It is a cool woman's name. Elecampane. Yeah, very cool. Ooh, and we're in the bed with one of my favorite plants,